to have an opportunity to go to the playoffs at home and not being able to get it done in that fashion is extremely disappointed. I do commend our locker room and the guys for their
ability to overcome adversity throughout the course of the season, but I think ultimately we dug ourselves in too big of a hole.
And the margin for error in this league is so small. And if you don't capitalize on opportunities and you make mistakes, then you're going to lose, especially against quality football teams. You got to give Detroit a ton of credit. They came in here and they beat us tonight. So certainly, like I said, extremely disappointed. But we got to. It's going to be a big offseason for us, obviously, to make sure that we all improve. We all got to look inward and figure out what it is we got to do to get better, because I know the expectations here are very high, and they should be. And just really disappointed right now.
You had a lot going for you down the stretch here. What do you think happened tonight to bring that to an end?
Just didn't take advantage of opportunities to be able to move the ball in the first half and have 9 points or whatever it was, and basically had 2 turnovers. The fourth down we didn't convert, and put our defense in a really tough situation right there, and they were able to hold them to 3, and then also had a fumble, and you can't do those types of things in this type of game.
Matt, Aaron's interceptions had been so low the previous 3 years. Why do you think they spiked this year, and what did you see on the ones tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. I got to go back and look at it. Certainly, look at some of the things that we're trying to do. I know the last one there, I think we busted a protection. He had a guy right in his face, and I think he was trying to give Christian a shot at it. And they came down with the pick.
Is it a given in your mind that he's back with you next year, or do you guys have a lot of thinking to do there?
Oh, I think that's yeah, I mean, in my mind, absolutely. But I think ultimately he's going to, decide that.
There was lots of composure at times. Douglas had a personal foul at the end of the first half, Boy's situation toward the end of the game. What do you think was there, were they feeling a little more pressure? What do you think was kind of causing some of those breakdowns there?
I don't know, but we that is unacceptable. I've got a much higher standard for our players than to do silly things like that. I mean, we've had a guy get ejected twice. I don't think I've ever seen that in my career. And we got to be much more mentally tough. Anytime our guys commit personal fouls, I take that very personally, because I think that's always a reflection of myself and the standards that we set for these players. And we got to be better, and we got to learn from that, because that is unacceptable.
Yeah, why go for it in your own territory so early in the game? Do you think you need this is going to be a high-scoring game? Is that what you're thinking?
Oh, it's 4th and a half yard. I think, not that we ever rely on analytics, but if you look at anything, they're going to tell you to go for it in that situation. We thought we had a look. Obviously didn't. They played the heck out of the play, and we ended up costing us.
On Aaron, this might sound like a preposterous question, but are you convinced that he's the guy to get you back where you want to be? He didn't have the best year. He's come up short in the 49ers last year in this game.
Yeah, I look at everything year to year. So certainly I think there was a lot of growing pains that took place throughout the course of the season, and I thought we improved and got better, and I thought the rapport with everybody got better. We all have this vision of, I mean, you're talking about one of the best to ever do it. And we all have this vision of what it's supposed to look like each and every week. And I think anytime you got some young players, or you got new players, or there's some transition, like it does take time. And certainly we got to ultimately, what I got to do, what our staff has to do, is we got to do a better job for our guys, put them in a better position so that learning curve is expedited, and that we can maintain that high level of play that we're so accustomed to seeing from him.
I guess I understand that part of it. This is, you guys have been at it for, what, 6 months as a sort of training camp? I mean, that seems like it's a lot of time to get some of those new guy things sorted out.
No, I think any time that you have that, when you have young players, it's a little bit of a roller coaster, and there's a lot of learning involved along the way. And that's just, you can call it what you want to call it, but that's reality. I mean, you see it throughout the course, throughout many teams throughout the league. I know in my past experiences, anywhere I've been, there is a transition there.
So, Matt, are you saying you've not seen any drop-off in his play this season?
Listen, I think every year is a little bit different in regards to, there was plenty of mistakes. I think many times, and I've said this throughout my tenure here, the quarterback's going to take the brunt of the blame when you don't have success, and a lot of the other time when you do have success, they're going to get too much of that praise. It takes everybody on that field, and ultimately, all 11 that were out there throughout the course of the season, and then our staff, I think we got to do collectively got to do a better job. Period.
Matt, it feels like this is annual, that you're standing here answering questions about, do you expect Aaron to be back? This feels like something you go through every year now. Are you, this year right now, any more confident, less confident than you have been in years past in the same situation? Has anything happened this year to lead you to believe it'll be one way or the other?
No, there's nothing that I can sit here and tell you right now definitively that how I feel in terms of what the future holds.
Matt, with the way Christian came on kind of later in the season, does that validate or vindicate your guys' decision to not make any moves by adding any receivers to that room? And do you think that this is what it is going forward?
No, I thought we felt confident with our receiving room, with our receiving core. Not only Christian, but Rome. There were a lot of great moments with him. Obviously, Allen's been a steady veteran for us. Randall. I think Samori is a young guy that's come on and shown flashes. So I thought we felt ultimately, collectively, that group, we felt pretty comfortable with where we were.
You've run the ball well all season. What went wrong tonight?
We didn't block movement very well.
Matt, when you talk about Aaron being one of the best to ever do it, does that in any way complicate the evaluation process that you make on each player each year, each offseason?
No, I don't think so.
First and goal at the 5, you've had some trouble with the first and goals. What'd you think went wrong down there?
We didn't block very well. We tried 2 runs and got, I think, a yard apiece maybe. That puts you in a tough spot. The third down was well covered. You sit there and you game plan and you think something's going to come open and it doesn't. And we went off schedule, and it looked like there was a little bit of miscommunication there in terms of when it does go off schedule. That's a lot of feel for the players involved, and I never want to put those guys in that situation. But the initial concept we called was gloved.
Were you planning on playing both guys at right tackle, or was that an in-game change?
That was in game.
3 years in a row, it's finished at home with a loss. That's, I'm sure you, with your pride in what you do on this field, that has to be a little bit more painful.
Yeah, I think anytime. You never, especially with what's at stake. Obviously 2020 had an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl last year, having a home playoff game, and this was a play-in game. So to not get it done in your home stadium with the support of your fans certainly is like I've said it a million times. It's just the overall theme is it's disappointing, and disappointed in myself and just the fact that we couldn't get it done.
You're not used to being in this position. How will your evaluation process take place this week? How long will this process take you in a moment that you haven't really experienced?
I think that's a great question, Stacy, in terms of I want to make sure that we cover everything with a fine-tooth comb, you know what I mean? And look at every facet of our program and what we're doing and what we're asking guys to do. And not only that, but the standards and expectations that we have in each area. I think that a lot of times when you have success, certain things can get covered up by winning games, and I think everything has pretty much been exposed right now. So we'll take a look at everything in terms of just how we operate. And, you know, it's evident that whatever we did this year was not good enough.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a great evening.
Aaron, what's going through your mind as you and Randall walk with your arms around each other off the field?
I just love the man. I've always had a tight friendship with him, and just a lot of gratitude in the midst of disappointment. The best part about this game is the relationships that come out of it, because those last longer than the career, and I'm thankful for Randall.
Where do you stand on what you want to do next year?
I mean, it's a little raw right now. You know, it's just a little bit after the game, so want to take the emotion out of it and have the conversations and see where the organization's at and see how I feel after some time has passed.
Is there any sort of timetable with that? Is there like a date where you want to make your decision by? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to hold them hostage. You know, I understand, you know, we're still in January here. March is free agency, so just need some time to, like I said, get the emotion out of it and then figure out what's best.
Do you think, is the decision all yours, you think, or?
No, I don't think so. I think there's got to be mutual on both sides.
So you could, because your contract, obviously, you got the guarantee. So if they wanted to move on, or at least were open to it, would you be open to that too, or?
To what?
To going to a different team?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't like saying never, but got to see how I'm feeling first once the emotion's out of it, and then have the right conversations and see what the best direction is.
You've said before that, I think the term you used was you didn't want to go out like a bum. I'm not saying you played like one, but does not making the playoffs and maybe some of the struggles you had this season maybe make you lean toward wanting to come back? Do you think that will play a role in it?
Not really. I mean, I have a lot of pride in what I've accomplished in this league. You know, a lot of ways I don't feel like we should have been even in this position with some of the games that we lost, especially in that stretch of 5 games. But this is the reality we're in, and obviously didn't get it done tonight. You know, you want to go out winning the Super Bowl, but it's very rare that actually gets to happen. Don't want to, you know, lose your last game and miss out on playoffs, but this is a great profession and a really tough business, and doesn't always end with rainbows for everybody.
I don't want this to sound disrespectful, Ernest, I swear it's not, but.
It's okay, Bill. You don't have to do a lead-in like that.
I know,
We've known each other long enough.
Look, you're a 4-time MVP, you're going to the Hall of Fame, so when you ask a guy, do you still have it? I don't want someone to come across him like a prick, you know?
No, not at all, Bill. And look, we've known each other for a long time, so I don't take anything that anybody says here personally. There's been some side conversations over the years if I felt like something might have been taken out of context or anything, but I respect you guys and the job that you have to do and questions that are hard like that. Yeah, and the answer is yes. You know, I feel like, you know, obviously losing Devontae was a big deal, but, you know, we didn't fill that void. And, I mean, nobody can. He's superhuman. He's phenomenal, but there was hope in certain things that was going to fill that void, and ultimately that just didn't happen. The things that we were able to do, I think, you know, may have been taken for granted at times because we were able to create so many different things in the moment over the years, and especially over the last couple of years, because not much really changed other than his absence from the lineup. Obviously, Marquez not being here and some other pieces in the line, but I think that there's a lot of good young talent on the team, and if certain guys make the jumps from years 1 to 2, this offense could look a little bit different.
Aaron, you've been so used to success here. How hard was this season for you in its totality?
I mean, it was frustrating at times, but it was ultimately some really beautiful moments. It's weird to say, and I actually do really believe that. As disappointing as this is, there was a lot of really incredible moments and life lessons life and the season is like a big ceremony, and ceremonies can be tough. You got to go through some stuff and a lot of lessons to be learned. And as much as this is a real shitty feeling, missing the playoffs and losing home like this, I'm thankful for the season. I'm thankful for the friendships that got strengthened, the new friendships, the moments on the field, off the field, at Chives on Friday nights with the crew, and everything in between. That's the beauty in this game. It's given me a lot, and I'm really thankful for it.
Aaron, how hard would it be to come back if some of the guys that are more your age peers aren't here? I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like working with guys that are, 15 years younger than you. I mean, I worked with Pete for a long time, and he was older than me.
Yeah, listen, that's part of it. It definitely is part of it. Big Dog, who knows what he's going to be thinking. Obviously, Randall, Mason Crosby, a lot of guys I played a lot of football with over the years. Dave. So that would definitely go into it, because that's a big part of what we do. It's not just the playing, it's the guys you play with and the chemistry and the love and the friendship that we have for each other, because it makes a difference.
Aaron, how big were the missed opportunities that Max said tonight?
The first half, I think, we a lot of opportunities that we let go away. Obviously the first drive was a good drive, and I think we had 4 drives inside their territory and just didn't come up with enough points, didn't convert on third down. Obviously Jonesy, such a dynamic, awesome player. That fumble, we probably go up 2 scores going into half. It's a little different story, but first half definitely hurt us and needed more points to give ourselves a good cushion.
Aaron, as you go through the evaluation process, hey, I'm just curious, what would make you say, I've had enough, or it's time?
I mean, it's a feeling. Do I feel like I have anything left to prove to myself? Do I want to go back and gear up for another grind? Or is it time? Is it time to step away? Is it time for another voice to be leading this team? I think I need to get away and contemplate those things. And those are real to me. And I have a lot of pride in what I've accomplished in this league, but I'm also realist, and I understand where we're at as a team. We're a young team. There could be some changes with some of the older guys, and it could be time to step away. But I could take some time and say, hell no, man, I need to get back out there and go on another run. But I'll have to see what it feels like once I'm away from it.
Is the emotion and pain greater to have 3 straight seasons end here in a championship game, a playoff game, and then a play-in game against teams that play in a dome or warm weather on your field?
I mean, it all hurts. Doesn't matter who you're losing to or where it's at. We've won a lot of big games, and we've lost some heartbreakers as well. So, it doesn't really matter where it's at at all. It all doesn't feel good.
Aaron, what's supposed to happen on the interception? I mean, you were a kid standing on the sideline when Brett threw an interception that wasn't all that different in that 2007 NFC Championship game. It looks like a downfield 50-50 ball, but I'm guessing that's not what it's supposed to be. So what's supposed to happen compared to what did?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't exactly see. I felt like the safety was in the middle of the field and was trying to work the other side. Bobby, or whoever's running the through route, got knocked off, and felt like I was about to get rocked and just tried to lay one up to Christian and didn't get enough on it. But those last 3 calls definitely sting a little bit. But still got to execute.
What do you think would have to happen this offseason? How much for you guys to be, not just fringe of playoffs, but to be really there competing for a title?
Yeah, probably a couple of players away, I think. Could be guys that we have that develop into those players, but yeah, I think we're really close, but a couple players away.
And the way you answered Jim's question, I'm wondering how that reconciles with the guy that is such an intense competitor that, like, McCarthy had to raise the basketball hoops so you guys wouldn't. I just, it's hard for me to picture you going out with that being your last pass in a Packer uniform. I don't understand how you kind of balance those two feelings.
Yeah, that's a normal thought, but at some point the carousel comes to a stop and it's time to get off. And I think you kind of know when that is. And that's what needs to be contemplated. You know, is it time? Also, what's the organization doing? You know, it's part of it as well. But the competitive fire is always going to be there. I don't think that ever goes away. Sometimes it gets transferred, I think, to other things that might not ever fill that large void. But like I said, I feel good about what I've accomplished in this league, and wouldn't have any regrets walking away. But I got to see what it feels like once I get away from this.
Aaron, cameras caught you, I guess, not Jameson Williams asked for your jersey. You wanted to keep it. Was that he needs to earn it more, or you wanted to keep it just in case?
I think I might have told him I'd give him a jersey when we played in Detroit, so I'll probably have to send him a jersey. But there's just some special ones that I like to keep, and so it was nothing against Jameson. I'll make sure I send him one, but yeah, I kind of want to keep this one.
Why? What was special about this one, Aaron?
I mean, it's night game, Lambeau, Week 18. There's just certain jerseys you like holding on to, like, you know, playing Chicago or you know, big Sunday night games. They're just a little bit different, I guess. Maybe giving it's not keeping it. It's more like it's a cool one to give somebody you really care about.
I saw Goody talking to you while you were getting dressed. I would never ask you what the contents of that conversation were.
It wasn't very deep.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But you dropped the breadcrumb about mutual desire in Chicago. You answered Pete's question the way you did. Has the organization indicated to you in any way whether they want you back or not? Or if they're not sure either, like, or is that based on your feeling?
It's just a feeling. Yeah, it's just a feeling. I think to assume it's a foregone conclusion, you know, would be probably slightly egotistical. So I'm going to be a realist here and understand that there's a lot of different parts to this. And like I said, you know, I was aware of, you know, the possibility of them going young if we had gotten to a point where we're out of it. And I'm aware of that possibility as well. Wouldn't be, you know, the best reality, but I know it's a possibility.
Aaron, what's the truth about the injuries that you went through this and fought through this season in totality?
The truth about them, I think, thanks to Make-A-Wish kid, I did have a fractured thumb, and there were other injuries that weren't as severe as that.
All right. If he needs to be, I understand this is hypothetical, is Jordan ready to be the starting quarterback for this team?
I don't know if you ever, you know, you're not ready, you don't know you're ready until you're in that position. I remember the day I was in, you know, sleeping in San Diego and woke up to 50 text messages that Brad had retired, and then that emotions hit you that, oh man, I'm the guy. But you still got to go out there and find your stride with leadership and withstand the first year of different defenses throwing things at you and all the pressure and that comes with everything. So, but I think he's done a nice job of improving, working on the little things, done a nice job in practice, and I think he's got a chance to have a long future in the league.
I don't mean to be crass asking you this, but
here we go.
Could you really walk away from that from that contract? I mean, that's an enormous amount of money, and you guaranteed it, I'm assuming, for a reason. You asked for it to be guaranteed for a reason.
Yes. Money is energy, and I have made a ton of it, and I'm very thankful for this organization, the generational wealth that they've offered me. Hopefully feel like that I've earned a lot of it. But yeah, for sure. I can definitely walk away from that.
Why do you think the offense never got going? I realize there's some new people, but I mean, you had your line for the bulk of the season, your backs were healthy. Receivers were mostly intact.
There's a lot of things I could say, but I don't feel like saying them right here, right now.
Two more, Brian. Rasul said the other day he was impressed how this team came back and solved problems in the season. And you've got to take that into account a month from now too, right? About the ups and downs and the solutions you came up with as a team.
Yeah, I'm proud of the way that we battled. We could have cashed it in and gotten ready for the offseason a lot sooner than tonight, and we didn't. So I give a lot of credit to the staff and to our guys for sticking in there and going on a little run and give us the opportunity to have a game tonight to win and get in.
Aaron, I don't want to steal Bill and Pete's disclaimers, but you know that old basketball saying about ball don't lie. Did you guys get what you deserved? I mean, you didn't play that well as a team all year. You couldn't play complimentary football in most of the games. Like, did you get what you deserved as a team, you think? Because you didn't get it done in all the times you had in the first 16 games?
We had a lot of opportunities to not be in this position. So yeah, probably. You know, I think we had so many opportunities in different games to put ourselves in a better position. Games we should have won based on, you know, matchups and talent and games that usually win. So we shouldn't have been in this position, but we were here, we fought, and again, kind of played like we did before the last, you know, few games. Not complimentary football, turned the ball over on offense. You know, teams didn't really make a splash play. And then, you know, we squandered opportunities in the red zone. We're terrible on third down. The same things that hurt us all year hurt us tonight. And there's a lot that goes into that. And we just didn't fix it all season. Had a decent stretch at times, but third down and red zone, we've made a lot of hay over the years in those situations and didn't do it.
Aaron, if this is your last.
I'm sorry if I could real quick. With a player of your ability, regardless of what circumstances you're presented with, I assume you feel that you can make it work, that you can be that rising tide. The fact that it didn't happen with this team this year, this offense, is that more disappointing, more frustrating? What is it for you in terms of not being able to bring it together?
Yeah, it's disappointing. There's a lot that goes into it, and I think that's a lot of the lessons that you learn when you're dealing with some of the stuff that we dealt with. You realize there's even more. I think there's even more outside of your control at times. And then the stuff that was in our control, we just weren't very good for a long stretch, and that obviously hurt us and put us in this position. And then we, you know, played kind of like we did, inconsistent throughout the season.
If this is it, Aaron.
Last one.
Is it last time out there, last time here? What are you going to miss?
I'm going to miss your questions, Bill. And Mike Clements taking 10 seconds to do a lead up. And Pete angling for something. And Bob writing stories about my personal life. You've been good lately, though.
Thanks.
And Jason bringing it back home with something that's kind of heavy hitting. Stephanie Sutton coming out of left field. A good question. I miss the guys. I miss the fans. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. Thank you.